6 hidden weapons that are so good, you don't want to miss them. Ranging from riding over invisible bridges to hidden behind elevator jump spots in dungeons. Enjoy. First would be the stone-sheeted sword. This particular one is hidden itself and can be turned into 2 other weapons, the Sword of Light and the Sword of Darkness, which have 2 amazing abilities. The Sword of Darkness is sending out, well, darkness around it, doing massive area damage. Whereas the Sword of Light goes for lasers that, yes, can hit one target multiple times over and over. The stone-sheeted sword is hidden in the Fog-Rift Catacombs, and you can reach this very easy from the castle front early into the DLC, just right to the left and get inside there. The best part is we can turn the stone-sheeted sword into the Sword of Light and Sword of Darkness, and we can swap back and forth vice versa if we don't like the one or the other. From the side of Grace, you're rushing forward, turn to the left, and you will have to discover the stone-sheeted sword because it is, matter of fact, hidden. Look out for the stabbing platforms because that is the theme of this dungeon. Can ignore all the green boys. And we need to reach a big room with a ginormous stabbing panel. Now, the good thing is you don't have to actually find a single thing to get there. Yep, you can ignore Dave too, who's trying to blast you. Now, you can get on top of this for another little secret, but we don't need that. Oop, we actually want to go below and then inside there before we get stabbed. And we need to get through that into the next area, down the elevator, out of the elevator, forward. Ignore the dude that is going to be casting annoying spells at you, and you have arrived at the big smasher room. First one to the left, second one to the left, but don't go too far because you'll fall down. Surprise. And then we're just rushing through, risking that we get crushed, kill the lion and his friend with lasers. Then we're taking out Castor Francis. And now comes the fun part. Missed it. You need to jump inside that panel that you've just seen there right in front of you. That would be step 1. Wait for it to go down. Then jump inside. Roll out. Wait for it to go down again. Because at the very end, into another room and another altar, there is then the stone-sheeted sword. And now we need to turn it into the Sword of Light or Darkness. The Sword of Darkness location is at the Ruins of Anti, right next to the Shadow Keep, and will begin from the main gate plaza side of Grace. If you don't have the shortcut on the right, you have to go left side around, but we're going through the shortcut already. Past my poison boys. Don't worry, you'll end up here eventually, and that is right in front of the Shadow Keep, the big bridge that leads you into the keep. But we're turning away from this to enter the Ruins of Unti, which I would almost call a hidden region. We go down the ladder, and since we're a rebel, we just jump into the waterfall, then down the next ladder, and into the coffin. That takes you to the Castle Watering Hole site of Grace. Right forward to the city in front of you, there will be a furnace golem who's blocking the entrance. You will craft yourself a heavy furnace pot, throw it inside, it activates him, and from that point on, you can always enter the Ruins of Unti. And there's an altar here on the right side that you can see so ominously glowing. And here, you can turn your stone-sheeted sword to the dark, or you can turn your Sword of Light into the Sword of Darkness. Ta-da! That was now my short stone-sheeted sword into the Sword of Darkness. And then for the Sword of Light, that is a bit later from the Viaduct Minor Tower in the Rao Ancient Ruins. For this, you'll be essentially having to beat Mesma and the complete Shadow Keep. We will begin from the Church of the Bud main entrance. Step 1, turn to the left, yeet yourself off the cliff, and jump on top of this house. If you land on the ground, you die. Down from the house, further past the entrance into the cave, to the right. And you can see the tower already. That's the tower we're looking for. This is where we would like to go. That's where we want to be at. Now you can destroy the stones here in a circle that are activating the spirit spring below us. That's fantastic because now we can officially jump into the spirit spring, turn to the left where the tower is, and just jump over there. Ta-da! And now here is an invisible bridge. Yep. Yeah. You can go to the altar and raise your Sword of Darkness to turn it into the Sword of Light. And well, if you don't actually like your Sword of Light, you can just turn it into a Sword of Darkness again. Next up, my favorite weapon in the game, Fire Knight Quinlan's Greatsword, which is from a Mesma fanboy, fashioned after Mesma's lance. It is essentially a thrusting sword with an insane range, and yes, it works perfectly with the thrusting spear or bloody tax Ash of War, and either goes for a triple scaling or can have a quad scaling if you put it over to blood. Dude was a super Mesma fanboy, aspiring to become the second Impaler. That was his whole mission. And this weapon is bound to an item you might have found, the Eyes of Grace, an ice blessed with an incantation of the Erdtree, placed on the eye of another to grant them the light of grace as a fleeting blessing. What does that even mean? Well, buckle up, this will be interesting. First, you'll have to go to the Church of Crusade from the Morth Ruins or the High Road Cross side of Grace and kill the invader, Fire Knight Quilin, and he'll drop you the Prayer Room key. With this prayer room key, you're going to head to the Shadow Keep Church District and it will be filled with water. Mine not anymore. That is right here next to the Church District High Road, the Cathedral of Manus Mature, and you can easily get here from the Bonnie Village, which you will enter through the Morth Ruins underpass. Now, the Church District is a bit of a tricky one in the beginning if you're first time here. You have to jump over, and there's essentially water everywhere, which is, well, literally keeping you from discovering as you see fit. You go over this little rooftop, make your way upwards, and I'll essentially walk you to the way where the prayer room key is needed, because you'll find the Fire Knight in a room where he's like, I'm so sad. I can't see the grace anymore. Someone help me. And that's where it will turn dark. At some point, depending on your decisions. Make your way up the roof. Over here. Then fall down. Turn around. There's a crab. Hi, Mr. Krabby. Now this is where you are. Crabs, 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 crabs. And down here is a big room. Okay. Now you'll be turning into the direction of the closed door. And this is where the Fire Knight is in a room groveling around and asking you to send help. Now you have two choices to make and two items you need. With the Eyes of Grace, you can give him the light and that will grant you his summon. But that's not what we're looking for. You want to grab yourself an Eyes of Occultation, which actually blinds him and takes any light away from him. It explicitly says, place on the eye of another to deny light in all of its forms. You are evil. But you'll get his sword. For this, you'll have to drain the area first. Make your way outside of the room, past the Mr. Krabs. Then there will be a Fire Knight opponent in front of you, but you got your beautiful stabby sword, so you're going to be absolutely able to take him out, no problem. Then you're going to turn to the left and just walk alongside the ramparts here. Kill the poor little bats. And at the end, walk up the ladder, pull the lever. Then you're turning around back where we came from. Jump down onto the Statue of America. Now, if you want to get the Eyes of Grace and a hidden boss, you'll turn to the left and walk down all the way to an elevator that takes you very far down and to one of my favorite boss fights in the game. Or you just walk outside of the room. There will be boss fight number 1 around this tree. He'll come out of the ground. After you then valiantly fought off this beast and destroyed it, you'll be turning to the left. And there will be another of these boss fights coming on your left side again. He's going to be right below these arcs. And one of them drops the Eyes of Occultation. Don't forget to essentially get the Sunken Chapel side of Grace before you engage in these boss fights just in case you die. Which brings me to my final favorite one, the Flowerstone Gavel. And this one is not super hidden, but rather easy to miss, and probably one of the best weapons in the DLC. Got an amazing build, boss killer burner for you that I'll link at the end of the video if you want to watch that. And the Flowerstone Gavel is an arcane scaling weapon that shoots down lightning and that reduces the lightning resistance of your enemy, which essentially allows you, after reducing the lightning resistance doing 10,000 of damage per cast, to essentially, for example, just hurl in Knight's Lightning Spears afterwards. Step 1, you're riding from the castle front side of Grace in front of Castle Ansis all the way to the right to the pillar waypoint, and then you're going to make your way left past Egon into the Dragon's Pit catacombs. That will then take you to the Dragon's Pit terminus, where you can make yourself all the way up to the jagged peak until you fight Baal the Dread. Very amazing opponent, best voice acting in the game, don't miss out on it. The thing is, instead of going up to Baal the Dread, or after going up to Baal the Dread, you can then, from the Dragon's Pit terminus, make your way out, and instead of taking the left route you essentially do to get up to Baal the Dread, you can go to the right. And very important is, it doesn't matter if you do this in the beginning or afterwards. So you don't have to actually interact with the Dragon Priestess a single time in order to do this. You can just go to the right, make your way all the way past everything. These dragons will be dead. And then you'll end up in the long run at the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion. And this Dragon Priestess will be gone, and you can simply loot the Flowerstone Gavel and the Priestess Heart, which can actually turn you into a dragon and increase the damage of your Dragon Cult incantations if you feel so. But you can't wear armor anymore if you actually do that. As a bonus, there's one more hidden weapon, but it's so late into the game that most won't actually ever get to use it. And that is here in the final region where the last boss is. From the Spiral Rise side of Grace, you turn around to make your way outside again. Ignore Caster Mac Bob. There's another Caster Dave happening here in front of you. You'll essentially bypass this man and just jump down onto the tiny balcony and then roll yourself onto the next one. And now begins probably 5 minutes of pain and suffering. Make your way downwards, and I'll show you the weapon when we're done. Because this is such a crazy way to just get somewhere. You thought I died? I didn't. This was intentional, and I forget about it. Now you need to jump, don't roll. I tried rolling. Doesn't work. Okay. We're not done. This is it gets crazier. So we're gonna fall down. Don't get killed by Mr. Slash and Knifey. And now, with the dead body pointing with his arm, let's kill him first so we have a bit of time to show you. It's going through that window. Go a bit back. Hold your sprint button. Okay. Align with the window. Forward, jump. Not done. Scadutree fragment, though, on the ground. Then, another Scadutree fragment, if I'm not mistaken. We're making ourselves further downwards with the elevator, which takes you towards the balcony, to the right, downwards, past these opponents. Yes. All the way into the dude. Let's just cook him here quickly. Past the dude with a sword, and I almost died trying to be cool and cook him. Downwards the stairs. Into the next elevator. And then finally, you have arrived. There will be waiting for you in that room, Euphoria, which has a very interesting effect called Euphoria's Vortex, which essentially does this. And in the description it reads, using the power of the vortex, violently twirl the armament, dealing multiple slashes directly ahead. The greater the restored luster of the blade, the greater the power of the skill. And if you deal damage to your foes, you slowly restore the luster of your weapon. So just slice and dice away, and it starts more and more glowing. And then when you're essentially ready to unleash, you're going and slice someone into pieces. It does have a DDB face scaling, so you want to go full face holy damage with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, any more hidden weapons you'd like to share in the comments below? Blast away. Which one is your favorite one you have found? And if you're now looking for that Flower Stone gavel build, that is absolutely incredible. Enjoy. Thank you for watching, dropping by, hanging out. Have a good day.